Welcome back to your live continuing coverage of Infocomm 2015, the Digital Signage Pavilion. We are on the Digital Signage stage, and you're watching BeTerrific. This is your official live continuing coverage of Infocomm's Digital Signage Pavilion on BeTerrific. Thank you so much for joining us. You're the Terrifics, and you make BeTerrific special. You can join us in our live chat to join the conversation in real time. We'll read your comments and your questions, maybe ask some of those online, but you'll be able to converse with the other Terrifics as well, and we can check in 24 hours a day too, but it's really cool. So all you have to do is go to beterrific.com/Slack and sign up. We'll send you an invite, and then you're in the chat. You can also reach us on social media at BeTerrific TV on Twitter and Instagram, and also on Facebook and YouTube. And of course, you can do what I like to do, email. Connect@beterrific.com. We love your feedback. Keep it coming. You guys are awesome. All right, let's keep this going. There's a company that's really, really amazing. They're called NEC. They make great displays, and they do a whole lot more. You know them. You've known them for years. They're in your home. They're in your shopping malls. They're in your grocery stores. They're at your checkout counters. They're everywhere. And Richard Ventura is joining us from NEC. Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having us.
It's great to have you here. You guys are really working hard on digital signage and implementing your screens into digital signage, and they're really, really good for digital signage and different applications for it.
Yeah, you know, the great thing is we have such a vertically focused organization. So whether it's retail, restaurants, transportation, you name it, and we have such a huge spectrum of sizes from 32-inch up to 98-inch. But remember, we also make projectors, and projectors do work in digital signage very well, especially when we start talking about solid-state laser and DLP-based projectors.
I love, I really love the projectors for 3D mapping when they do it for buildings, and you can also do all sorts of other creative stuff. We have a company coming on later in the week, actually via Skype, they couldn't make it, called po-mo and .com. And they have all sorts of interactivity with the projectors, and they can do basically 3D mapping, but they can do all sorts of other stuff, and they really show how digital signage and projectors really are coupled together, and it's something that people, I don't think of at first. It's not their first thought when they think of digital signage, but I think it should be.
It is, you know, traditionally everyone thinks projectors immediately, their first comment is, oh, the lamps are going to go out, we're going to spend lots of money on lamps. Right now, if you'll see throughout the show, you'll see that really a lot of people talking about solid state laser. And we're talking a lot longer use. We're talking about product that, 20,000 hours before you got to deal with that light mechanism versus a lamp that you're talking 5,000, 7,000 hours. So we're talking a lot longer use. 4K projection is becoming a forefront as well. You talked about projection mapping, huge applications, but don't forget we also can do stuff like edge blending projection and also mixed use. We have customers who are looking at doing a video wall, but then they want to project around that video wall. So they can have that video wall showing whatever relevant content they want, but they want to set the atmosphere, then they're doing projection around the wall. And you look at the RAI in Amsterdam, they do that when you walk right in their convention center. So a lot of places are looking at that now.
That convention center is amazing. I was there for IBC last year. What an unbelievable convention center, huh?
It is. It's, we go out there obviously every year for ISE, and it's just amazing to see the technology, and every year we see new technology being used at that convention center. But you look at that here in Orlando, you look at the LVCVA, you look at a lot of the convention centers are trying to find new ways to use technology, even LED. Don't forget, LED is here too.
How could I forget? I mean, look out here. This is unbelievable what is here. What do you think of Infocomm? I mean, it's just unreal what you see. It's literally like they've turned the convention center into Vegas.
It's great coming here every year. Like I said, I go to ISE every year, and it's always great to see what happens between ISE, then DSE, and then you have this show. So what happens between those three shows, all the different technologies that come out, LED is just exploding. Yeah. I mean, we even have LED in our booth.
It's pretty awesome, and I love how they can curve and bend them and do all this stuff that you don't even think about or don't even realize necessarily all the time. Now, something else that I think is really cool about projection and using it today is people, I think of projection, and maybe this is why they don't necessarily think of projection first also, is because, yes, the bulbs, yes, that's a big thing, but also the throw, which has been able to be changed a lot now. We can get much shorter throws, much wider screens, but also I think in past projectors, even on the consumer level where people start seeing projectors for the first time when they're making their decision, really always looked washed out, especially in light and in daylight. But now we're at the point where good projectors, even on the consumer level, and then of course going up to the professional level, can really be bright and strong and bold in all sorts of lighting environments, which makes a huge difference. And again, you're not doing it with having to change the bulb, so when you couple all these things together and you can use a projector, it's great. And I think also people think of people walking through the shots with a projector. You don't have to worry about these things anymore.
You don't. I mean, we've got projectors, you're hitting 8, 10, 12, 14, 20,000 lumens, so that you got the brightness covered. And when you're talking about worried about people crossing it, you've got ultra short throw technology. For example, we've got in our booth, we've got 3 ultra short throws, edge blended together, so it's one big wall. And we had a mall property come through and they said, we could do that easily, and they don't have to worry about people walking in front of it. They don't have to worry about all those issues. So a lot of those technologies have helped change that, the ultra short throw lenses, and then don't forget, you can still do rear projection too if you had to go that route.
Rear projection is really interesting because I always thought that rear projection was completely dead, but I think it's making a comeback.
We have some customers who are doing it, and the biggest problem that you run into is you got to have the space. Just like you have to have the space in the front, you have to have the space in the back. And the great thing is all the screen companies, Daylight, Stewart, you're down a list of all the screen guys, they're making much better technology that allows us to really utilize rear projection as well as front projection in so many new applications, even outdoor.
What about the displays you guys have? You have some great displays too. It's not just about, so you mentioned LED in the booth, and it's not just about projection. You've got all sorts of great technology.
We do. I mean, if you look at it from a display perspective, we have everything in our booth ranging from 24-inch 4K up to 32-inch 4K. And then you look at large format, we're talking 32-inch to 98-inch. And then, I mentioned LED, we're running a 2mm LED product in our booth. And this is our, first time we showed it was in Europe at ISE, and huge, just tons of positive response. And so we brought it here to the US as well, and you're going to see a lot of really cool technologies coming out from NEC in that space. And then don't forget touch. We do a lot of touch interactivity, and I think we've probably got 10 or 12 different types of touch technologies running in our booth right now.
What is your favorite touch technology?
It's all application based. If we're in kiosks versus a POS, so multi-touch is so important. We have some great touch integrators out there. You look at TSI Touch, Touch Systems, Tech Global. They do some amazing integration of touch in our product. Even Horizon is another one. And then you have products like we do with overlays. So it really depends on the application and the vertical market.
How did you get involved with NEC?
I've been with NEC for 15 years. I used to work as a reseller actually for NEC for a couple of years, and then I was a territory rep based in Minneapolis for about 7 years.
CJ in our Slack chat wanted to know what your favorite installation you've ever seen that NEC did or have been part of putting together, or maybe even advising on.
Actually, I got 2 for you.
Yeah.
In the retail, my absolute favorite is Cabela's. We do some just amazing things with video walls, touch interactive. They utilize so many of our different technologies in there, and it's just an absolutely amazing installation. And we do stores all over the U.S. The other one is actually probably near and dear to my heart, and is Wendy's. And with Wendy's, we do everything from traditional menu boards, dining room television. We've done outdoor with them. And just seeing how it's transformed their brand over the time, it's just been awesome. But of course, all of our customers are our favorites too, though.
I bet they're all your favorites, but that's a very special one. I like what Wendy's is doing with it. I've seen that. Cabela's I haven't seen, but I mean, that's got to be amazing. And I got to say, it's very funny you talk about touch display because, I want to feel like I'm on the cutting edge of technology. I love technology. I see you got the Apple Watch. You two are on the cutting edge of technology. And I'm really up with technology. But when I see a screen, even to this day, my first thought is not to walk up and touch it and to interact with it. But it's amazing. I have a son, he's 2 years old, and already he walks up to the TV and touches it. And he thinks every screen we see you can touch. And so it has to be in the future. It's so weird to me though, because I grew up around digital signage, around video walls and all this stuff. You never got close to this stuff. You didn't want to. It was off limits. Now it's like, yeah, get your fingerprints all over there, touch it, do it, interact, blah, blah. And, I'm watching, there's a booth over there, and they're moving things around and touching it. It's unbelievable.
It is. We are really a society of touch. We can think the smartphones. We can think the tablets. And obviously now the watches. And I always joke with people, I've probably gone through 4 laptops because my nieces and nephews immediately start touching it, and they go, wait a second, it doesn't work anymore. And I go, no, it's not a touchscreen, it's a laptop. And they go, what's the difference? Well, we're used to it.
That's probably why they had to build touchscreens into a lot of these laptops now. It really is, it's remarkable, but it's awesome, and I feel like one day we actually will be at Minority Report, especially with all this VR stuff coming out.
Yeah, we got a lot of clients who ask us about it, and retailers are trying to test new ways, and Microsoft with camera systems, and you got facial detection, analytics, all of those types of things are playing more and more into retail, so you're going to see more of it in the next couple of years.
Yeah, and I do like how people, especially with Microsoft and their technologies and Connect, people like this company po-mo.com are using projectors, probably NEC gear, to integrate the touch without actually touching because you're using Connect or other devices like it. And I think that's super cool too. And like I said, it's Minority Report kind of happening. I don't know, where do you see the future going? Is it into touch or something else?
Well, touch is growing more and more every day. I mean, I remember...
But that's kind of here, I guess.
It is. I remember 7 years ago, I was sitting in a conference, and I believe it might have been in Tampa, and Alan Braun's up front, and he's talking about touch. He says, less than 5% of the business. Today, we're talking it's 30% of our business. We're seeing it grow dramatically every single year, and we're going to see even more growth of it. But it's more than just touch, and it's more than just displays. It's how do you get the right content on displays? And so the use of analytics, having trigger mechanisms, be it iBeacons, be it RFID, that's triggering the right content to show up on the screen. That's what we're really hitting now. And we're starting to see more and more of that technology. At NEC, we have a lot of that technology ourselves, and then we have a lot of partners that we work with. So we're seeing more and more of it. Every day I meet a new beacon company, just about almost every day, telling us, here's what we can do here. Same with RFID. And you talk to Intel, and they're talking a lot about RFID. So there's obviously some trigger mechanisms out there that we're seeing to jump into our environment even more.
Well, and I think we're seeing mass adoption of RFID, which allows it to happen, because RFID's been around for a little while, but it's taken a little while to catch on. Now they put it in the iPhone, and they have Apple Pay, and they're going to open it up to other things. It's been in Android for a little bit, but it's starting to really catch on. Now it's in the watches as well. So I think that is part of what drives it, or what holds some of the technology back, but I agree. I mean, you mentioned Alan Braun, and the guy's a living legend. He was honored last night, I don't know if you know this, with a Lifetime Achievement Award, and I'm so honored to, not only he's come to hang out a little bit, but he's going to come on set in a little while. But it's amazing, you talk about, this is why he's a legend, and he knows his stuff, is you talk about how 5 years ago he was talking about this technology we're embracing today 5 years ago. So I guess I need to ask him as well what the future holds, but you certainly know a lot, and it's very exciting. And Richard, thank you for coming on and talking. NECdisplay.com, if people want to find out more. NEC.display.com, NEC.display.com. And I think that you really fit into so many different applications. Anybody who's looking at digital signage, whether it be for a restaurant, whether it be for corporate, whether it be for any part of their business or life, they have to look at NEC. Oh,
definitely. You have to come by our way.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us. That's Richard Ventura from NEC, NECdisplay.com. I'm Michael Artsis. You're the Terrifics. We'll be back with a whole lot more right after this. Stay with us.